Welcome to Today in Prophecy, daily news in 15 minutes or less. It's news with the perspective of the Bible. Well, a lot of interesting things are going on. Americans say mysterious fog with chemical smell is making them sick. Hospitals in China are overwhelmed by surge in HMPV patients, raising concerns about a new pandemic. There's a lot going on here. Check this one out. So Trump has said he wants to make Canada the 51st state. Got a lot of comments from some of you guys up in Canada. A lot to share there. But also now Trump says he's going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. No, I'm not making these things up. But let's start here at the top. Americans are saying a mystery fog that with a chemical smell is making them sick just minutes after exposure. People across the U.S. are reporting a mysterious fog with a chemical smell they believe is making them sick within minutes of exposure. Reports of the Fun Natural fog. Fun Natural, boy, that sounds interesting. Fog began late in December, in parts of Texas, Wisconsin, Iowa, Maryland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Locals have flooded social media with videos explaining their symptoms since the fog appeared in their area, which have included coughing, sore throat, congestion, eye irritation, lethargy, or whatever you want to call it, and on down the list. Florida's reporting it. I have some friends in California along the coast that asked me about it a week ago. They said, hey, we had this crazy fog that came in, and people are saying they started getting sick. What do we know about this? Listen, folks, there are weird things going on. I asked some of my own friends about this, my own colleagues. I said, what do you think about all these reports on the fog and what's happening? And then, of course, we have people that are, this just been put out there. There's actually a city here in California that boasts about cloud seeding and how they actually do it. And you look at these things and you go, this is truly amazing. And there's other people are saying these things aren't really happening, but then you go up and you look in the sky and you say, hey, something very strange is going on. And listen, there's facts. Cloud seeding has been going on for over 60 years here in the United States. So we've known about these things. I mean, you can go into different experiments that have been done. I remember reading about one that was done over San Francisco many years ago, another one that was done in Ohio with a fog that would be released on the people and the effects of it. And it's been documented. And now you look at these things and like the drones, there's nothing to see here, folks. You don't have to worry about anything. And then we have this coming out of the Jerusalem Post. Hospitals in China are overwhelmed by surge in HMPV patients, raising concerns about a new pandemic. Are we allowed to talk about that? I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg, you heard that today. Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, we're not gonna censor anybody anymore. We're not gonna go into any of these areas. We understand there's difference of opinions, but everything is going in a new direction. So now we're gonna allow you to give out the information that you should be able to give out. Well, I'm not ready to test that yet. I've heard these types of things before. I've never heard it quite like they're saying it this time, but I look at this and I go, very interesting. So we'll see. Are we allowed to talk about this new pandemic that's coming? Are we allowed to talk about what has happened over the last 5 years? Interesting. So we'll see what happens on Facebook. We'll see what happens with all platforms Meta related. We'll see what happens with all of them. And many of you are watching this right now. But we'll know. We'll know within time if this is real, if we're actually going to be allowed to be able to present facts that are out there and truth that is out there, or if it's going to be labeled as misinformation or something like that. We've been reporting on what's going on over in the UK. If you speak against the narrative of the government, hey, they're shutting people down. They're arresting them. Totally crazy. You can't even share certain things from certain platforms. So we're watching this. So we'll see if the words of Zuckerberg amount to nothing or if they actually come out to be something. It's also interesting. You have these different people, they're leaders in business, leaders in politics that are suddenly coming on board and seeming to want to get along with Trump. I mean, what a weird world. Again, we'll get to it at the end, but Trump saying he wants to change the name of Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. I mean, very interesting things. Okay, let's move on from here because this just shows you more about the insanity, and not everybody is getting away from DEI requirements. This is out of Zero Hedge. Ability to read, write, or do math is no longer required to teach in New Jersey. I would like to say you've got to be kidding me. No, this really is happening. This is definitely a you can't make this up kind of story. But New Jersey Democrat Governor Phil Murphy passed Act 1669 as part of the state's 2025 budget in June to address a teacher shortage. The law went into effect on January 1st. Individuals seeking an instructional certificate will no longer need to pass the Praxis Core Test, a basic skills test for reading, writing, and math that is administered by the state's Commissioner of Education. We need more teachers. I mean, what are you getting? And it won by a 34-2 vote. And this is the best way we can get more teachers, to make it so they can't actually teach, to hire people who don't even have the ability to read. What are they going to teach? You don't have to be able to read. You don't have to be able to do math. You don't have to be able to do pretty much anything, but we just want, so what are you going to do? We already have a totally messed up educational system that is out to just corrupt children, cut off children's body parts. You're going this way, and now you're saying, well, we don't actually want teachers that can teach. We just want to say we have teachers that can teach, so we'll fill the spots, we'll pay them some money, you put your kids in the class. What the heck do you think this whole thing is going to turn into? If you don't think we have enough problems already, I'm telling you, man, we have got a mad, 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 mad world, just like my message was on Sunday night. Crazy stuff. This is complete insanity, the things that are going on. Israel, Jerusalem Post, must prepare for potential war with Turkey, Nagel Committee warns. The committee established by the government warns that Turkey's ambitions to restore its Ottoman-era influence could lead to heightened tensions with Israel, possibly escalating into conflict. Listen, I want to sound a warning on this without getting into Ezekiel 38, which I well understand the different dynamics of Ezekiel chapter 38, all of the players involved. So I'm not going to go into that, but right now I just want to point out this obvious fact that Turkey, Erdogan wants to establish the Ottoman Empire, the reestablished Ottoman Empire. He views himself as that leader. He's patient, he's willing, he's waiting, and let me tell you, his target is Jerusalem. We talked about this on New Year's Eve. Also, I did a program with James Cadiz where we got into it. John Howler and I, we talked about it quite a bit yesterday, if you can catch that update that I did with him. But you'll look at this. Turkey is the problem. They are going to flex their muscle. They have a military ability that some of the other enemies of Israel have not had. They want to be the new Iran over in the Mideast. But again, it's about reestablishing or rebuilding or making a new Ottoman Empire. And Erdogan, the president of Turkey, he sees himself as that man. This is the thing he wants to accomplish. Moving on from there, another story. This is out of the AP News. Israel helps former soldier leave Brazil over investigation into alleged war crimes in Gaza. So what's happening over in Brazil, hey, they're saying, hey, we're going after these Israeli soldiers. We're going to go after them. We're going to take them. We're going to seize them. We're going to throw them in jail. We're going to do whatever we can. Listen, if we go back and we look at Brazil, I want you to think about what's happened over there. Bolsonaro, the former leader of Brazil, he was ousted. All kinds of problems have come into Bolsonaro's life because of the political party that is now in charge in Brazil. And also, when you look at Brazil, it looks to me that what has happened there, you have a coup that's happened there. It was done at with the help of the globalists from the Western world, that would be the United States and Europe, to make sure that Bolsonaro would be gone. And they get a new leader over there in Brazil. The guy's a radical communist that's leading Brazil, throwing in all of his political opponents into jail, locking them up, getting rid of them. He's a terror. He's an evil leader. So we have that dynamic, and then going after this Israeli soldier or other Israelis for that matter. Not just, he's not the only target. So you look at this. Why are they doing this? Because this is the globalist agenda. It is about eliminating anything that's Jewish, anything that's Israeli. They do not want Israel to have a victory. The West doesn't want it. The world at large really doesn't want Israel to have victory. So we see so many different things that are developing as we look at things moving forward. Unbelievable as we watch this. But listen, like it is with Erdogan, the president of Turkey, wanting to reestablish or establish a new Ottoman Empire. It is about Jerusalem. Turkey's made it clear. Even in Brazil, they're making it clear this is about Jerusalem. This is about eliminating the Jewish problem as they see it. Amazing days that we live in, but it is a spiritual dynamic that is going on behind the scenes. Listen, as we say, this is with a biblical focus here on today in prophecy. And we know from Zechariah chapter 12, the world's attention is going to be on Jerusalem. We also know if you study Bible prophecy, eschatology, and the events regarding the second coming of Christ, listen, the only way that Satan can keep himself from being cast into the lake of fire is to eliminate the Jewish people and eliminate them from the land of Israel and to attempt to usurp the authority of Jesus and install himself as the Messiah. So that's why you see 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, he sits in the temple and demands to be worshiped as God. And this is why you see the attempt to eliminate the Jewish people from the planet. It is a spiritual dynamic because Jesus isn't going to come back until Israel says, Hosanna, Lord, save us. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. At that point, when the Jews cry out for Jesus to save them, he will come back. If the Jews don't cry out for Jesus to save them, he's not come back. Satan knows that, so he wants to eliminate the Jews. If you understand Bible prophecy, you can make that connection. But also, hey, I want to remind you we have coming up in Las Vegas next week, just a week from Friday, the Prophecy Conference Blazing Saddles, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Las Vegas at Pastor Kurt Reed's church. Join us there if you can. It's going to be great. Okay, moving on from there, final stories, I should say. Check this out. Trump says he will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Well, you look at this and you go, to me, this is just one of those wild things. However, I asked a week or so ago, I said, hey, so Trump wants to change, he wants to make Canada the 51st state of the United States of America. Asked you guys up in Canada, what are some of your thoughts? Here's just some comments that we received in. Faith Whacker Chaucer 6946 says, I'm an Albertan, so we are really unhappy with our prime minister, but still, I love my country. We need a prime minister that doesn't rob one of our province. I have no desire to be an American. We are quieter, less violent people. Nicole Bays 7518 says, Trudeau is insane. However, this land isn't for sale. Trump in his mouth, forget it. Maximus Bernicus 2912, Canadian here. Biden, in my thoughts, was more woke than Trudeau, and that's quite a statement. Our once God-fearing nations are falling so quickly, it's incredibly difficult to tell the difference between a liberal conservative. The last thing you Americans need is another California on your northern border. Always remember, millions of Canadians were okay with the freezing of bank accounts and so forth, but they want to move forward as Canadians. Another commenter, Ginep, said, I would not like to be part of the United States. Trump should not joke about that. I'm a proud Canadian. Okay, we have those. Also, a couple more comments. I think I can get them in here. This is regarding Trudeau. Check this out. I said Trudeau's gone. I was corrected. Tom, I love your show. Says Jill Klassen. But in regards to our government in Canada, I wish it was that easy that Trudeau was gone. According to a member of the parliament that I listen to regularly, she says and agrees that he is simply gaslighting once again. He has shut down Parliament until March, and until then, we have no government. He's still simply trying to buy more time for himself. God bless you. I'm done.